Welcome at Etna classes. Learn today to lead tomorrow. I have here listed a few questions which was previously asked by the Cbse, and I hope that if you solve all these questions, it would be quite beneficial for your board examinations. लेटर से रिलेटेड आने वाले सभी क्वेश्चंस को आप आंसर कर सकते हो. तो without wasting time, moving on the first question, why did Lencho write his second letter? इसका सिंपल सा आंसर है कि as Lencho asked 100 pesos as compensation in order to sow his field again and to feed his family. That's why he writes a letter, but he got only 70 pesos. So he writes again and asks God to send his 30 pesos. That's the answer, simple answer. And moving on, the second question. Why does Lencho write a letter to God? It's quite easier. Everybody knows that his crop was completely ruined by the hailstones and he has nothing left to feed his family in order to sow his field again. That's why he writes a letter and asks to send 100 pesos as a help. Moving on, the question number third. What did Lencho experience after sending the letter? Actually, after sending the letter, Lencho was filled with hope and confidence. He has firm belief and he thought that only God can help me. He was very confident that he would get help from the God. Moving on, the question number third. What were Lencho's feeling when the hailstone stopped? As the field was completely damaged, completely ruined. So he filled with worries. He was very disappointed that his entire field, his entire crop was damaged and he has nothing to feed his family and to support his family. That's why he was quite sad, disappointed, he was quite worried. And moving on, the question number next, the 5. Why was Lencho sad after the hailstorm? Just previously I just mentioned that as his entire crop was damaged, totally damaged, and he has nothing left to feed his family and he was concerned. That's why he was sad. Why did Lencho consider the post office employees as a crooks? The first of all, he asked for 100 pesos and he got only 70. So Lencho thought that might be the post office employees who had stolen the rest of the money. That's why he called the post office employees the bunch of crook, because Lencho suspected them and they were acting and behaving strangely. Well, this is a very important question. Most of the time Cbse has asked more than 3 to 4 times put up in the board examinations that why Lencho called post office employees bunch of crooks. So you can just simply answer that Lencho suspected that the post office employees might have stolen the money, and the second thing that Lencho find their behavior was quite strange. That's why he said so. And moving on, the next question. How much money did Lencho ask and why? It's quite simple. That Lencho asked 100 pesos in order to sow his field again and to support his family, to feed his family, because his entire crop was completely damaged and he has nothing to feed his family and to support. Moving on, the next question. What was the only hope left after the hailstorm? So, as we have already studied that Lencho lived in a lonely valley where no one was there to help Lencho. He was all alone in that distant valley. There is only single hope from God. And moving on, who was Lencho and what were his problems? So we can say Lencho was a farmer, hardworking, and his problem was his field. His crops was completely ruined, mess, damaged, destroyed by the hailstorm, and he was quite worried that he had not enough money in order to sow his field again and to support his family. So moving on, next question number 10. Why was Lencho confident that help would come? He was a firm believer in God. He has strong belief. He has strong faith in God. That's why he writes so. Otherwise, he wouldn't write and ask help if he has suspicion. He was firm believer. That's why he writes so and even get help. So moving on, that's question number 11 next. How did the hailstone destroy the crop? Actually, hailstone completely covered up the field and total not a single leaf remained on the plant, and everything was destroyed and stone and flooded the cornfield completely and leaving nothing but destruction. And moving on, what made Lencho think rain would fall? Actually, Lencho was a hard-working farmer, and even the farmer can forecast weather. He is very close to nature. He knows everything. So Lencho, when he sees in northeast, so Lencho thought that it would rain. As the patches of cloud he sees that it was coming. That's why he said his wife that woman, I think that it would rain. So you can write in your simple word, Lencho looked at the sky and saw huge mountains of cloud approaching, which made him believe that it would rain soon. That's why he just forecasted. How did Lencho describe the raindrops? Quite easier that Lencho described the bigger ones to the 10 cents and the smaller one to the 5 cents, because Lencho's field needed a shower or a light rain which would help him in get a good harvest. That's why he compared the big 10 cents pieces or big ones, the 10 cent, and the smaller raindrop to the 5 cent. Now moving on, what moral values does the postmaster display? Yes, this question is quite important, and you have to make. He was humanity, kindness, pity, because when the postman went through the letter, he started laughing, but turned serious, and he decided that such a faith, such a firm faith cannot be reached. That's why he just came up with the idea to donate and part of his salary and ask donation for his post office employees and friends, and he just collected 70 pesos. So you can answer in simple word that the postmaster displays kindness, generosity, empathy, and a desire to keep Lencho's faith in God alive. Okay, so this question number 15. Why does Lencho request money from God? It's quite simple, that in order to sow his field again, to support his family, to feed his family, and moving on, did the letter reach God, and why did the postmaster reply? No, letter did not reach to the God, but the postmaster replied because he decided that such a firm faith should not be breached. That's why because he wanted to protect his strong faith in God. So he collected money and asked his fellow friends and employees to just donate and to give. Why was Lencho angry on receiving the money? Lencho was angry because he asked for 100 pesos and he was quite confident. He has a firm belief in God. But when he counted the money, it was only 70 pesos. So he became angry that how God could make such a mistake. Belief in God, so he thought that God couldn't make such mistakes. That's why he became angry. Lencho was angry as he received the 100 pesos. He believed that God couldn't never make a mistake. So someone in the post office must have stolen the remaining money. That's why he became angry the first place. So moving on, the question number 90. How did Lencho's family behave after the disaster? They all were quite concerned, worried, disappointed. Everybody knows that after losing everything, despite doing all, putting all their efforts, so they all were sad, and they trusted Lencho's faith in God and believed that God would help them. Moving on, that how does Lencho shows unshakable faith? Lencho shows unshakable faith by writing a letter directly to God. He has a strong belief, faith, confidence. That's why he decided to write. Otherwise, he didn't. So that and believe that God will respond, no doubting even for a moment. And he again writes the second letter complaining about the missing money behavior. And moving on, 21, explain the irony of the story. The most V.V.I question might be most of the time, more than twice or thrice, I think the Cbse had already put up in the board examination. So the irony that post office employees helped Lencho by sending him money. On the other hand, Lencho suspected them stealing the remaining amount. The generous people he mistrusts are the ones who actually helped him. Irony means, that what we say, it doesn't actually mean. Moving on, the question number 22. What values do we learn from the postmaster? The kindness, generosity, sympathy, empathy, compassion, respect for others. These values postmaster do have. That's why he decided to donate his part of the salary and came up with an idea that Lencho must be helped. And moving on, the question number 23. Why did Lencho think the employees stole the money? Lencho believed God could never make such a mistake. And moving on, the question number 24. What does the story teach about faith and innocence? The story shows that faith can be powerful and pure. Innocence can make people trust blindly, but sometimes innocence may also lead to misunderstandings. This is the story shows the faith is quite powerful and pure. Lencho has the deepest faith in God. That's why he got help. But on the other hand, he misunderstood the those generous people who helped him, the post office employees. And now moving on, the question number 25. Why did the postmaster decided to help Lencho? The postmaster was moved by Lencho's deep faith, and he decided that such deep and strong faith must not be break. That's why he decided to help him, and kindness and ensure that Lencho's faith in God remained strong. Okay, he just wished for if he would have such a strong faith in God. इन क्वेश्चंस को लिख के अपनी नोटबुक में खुद के वर्ड्स में प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हो. मैंने आपको आपके क्वेश्चन पेपर के टॉप ऑफ द क्वेश्चन पेपर आपको यही लिखा रहेगा, स्टूडेंट्स आर आस्क्ड टू राइट इन देयर ऑन वर्ड्स. आप अपने शब्दों में लिखने का कोशिश करो. और इस चैप्टर से मैंने 25 क्वेश्चंस दिया. आई डोंट थिंक दैट यू विल मिस अ सिंगल क्वेश्चन. कि मैं चैप्टर 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 व्हाटएवर आपके जितने भी चैप्टर्स हैं उसका मैं VVI क्वेश्चंस दूंगा. नो नीड टू वरी. आप इन सारे क्वेश्चंस को जितना मैं बता रहा हूं चैप्टर वाइज आप करो, 100% मार्क्स आपको आएंगे. यू वोंट मिस अ सिंगल क्वेश्चन, आई गारंटी. आई हैव ऑलरेडी वर्कड सेवरल टाइम्स एज इवैल्यूएटर, सो आई डू हैव knowledge, I do have the idea that, so I think that these questions would be enough if you prepare for your board examination. So I will give you rest of the question of the chapters, and if you like the video, just hit the like button and subscribe the channel for upcoming videos. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.